Wonderful. Meritocracy. I like this passage. Fine. So it's an interesting passage. The complexity of modern problems often precludes any one person from fully understanding them. Tell me about it. But we all claim that we have the best understanding of the situations. It's beautifully seen in the pandemic. Nobody can understand the biology of it, the medicine of it, the epidemiology of it, the political response of it, the social angle of it, the media outrage of it. But each one of us is an expert in everything put together. Anyway, factors contributing to rising obesity levels, for example, include transportation systems and infrastructure, media, convenience foods, changing social norms, human biology, and psychological factors. Of course, the multidimensional or layered character of complex problems also undermines the principle of meritocracy. That's weird. Why would it? Let's read this. The idea that the best person should be hired. Why does it undermine this? There is no best person. I don't get it. Let's read further. When putting together an oncological research team, a biotech company such as Gilead or Genentech would not construct a multiple choice test and hire the top scorers. Of course not. Or hire people whose resumes score highest according to some performance criteria. Instead, they would seek diversity. Oh, that old animal. They would build a team of people who bring diverse knowledge bases, tools, and analytic skills. All good so far. I don't understand why it still undermines the principle of meritocracy. When merit and diversity are not opposing ideas, they're not opposites. I can have a diverse, very meritocratic team. So I personally still have peeps with this passage. I want to see if it redeems itself. Let's see. Believers in a meritocracy might grant that teams ought to be diverse, but then argue that meritocratic principles should apply within each category. Yours truly. If you need to have a scientist and a mathematician and a sports person, we should get the best of these three and then put them together, provided they also work well with each other. That's important. That the team should consist of the best mathematician, the best oncologist, and the best biostatisticians from within the pool. They seem to be ratifying this, but I see a but coming. That position suffers from a similar flaw. What is that flaw? Even with a knowledge domain, no test or criteria applied to individuals will produce the best team. Each of these domains possesses such depth and breadth that no test can exist. Of course, no test can exist. That doesn't mean tests are insufficient. Fine. So I still have issues with this passage, but let's keep reading. Consider the field of neuroscience. Upwards of 50,000 papers were published last year, covering various techniques, domains of inquiry, and levels of analysis, ranging from molecules and synapses up through networks of neurons. Given that complexity, any attempt to rank a collection of neuroscientists from best to worst, as if they were competitors in the 50-meter butterfly, must fail. Correct? It will fail. The complexity in present era is too high. Fine. What could be true is that given a specific task and composition of a particular team, one scientist would be more likely to contribute than another. Definitely. Optimal hiring depends on context. Optimal teams will be diverse. All okay. Still, it's like saying, look, if you're a football team and you have the best forward line, then when you're looking at the transfer market, you should get midfielders and defenders. Of course. You can't keep recruiting 12 forwards and expect the team to be brilliant. It won't be. The forward does his job, so too is a wonderful midfielder, a defensive shield, and a wing back, and a great goalkeeper. So your team needs to have balance, which is a proxy for diversity that's being said here. Your hiring and buying and transfer market dealing have to be based on context. What do you need and how the two can work together. I cannot have two number 9s who are both happy playing on their own. And even within the forward line, I need to have not just a strong forward line, but I need to have guys who can work well together. All that is good. The one thing that I still have an issue with, none of this says merit is useless. And these are other factors, but I don't understand why this passage is taking a bludgeon and beating up merit with it. And believers in meritocracy, they mean good things. The really strong, good, interesting, beautiful forward can work with multiple other people. That's part of an inherent trait of defining merit. Anyway, let's not digress. Let's read this. Evidence for this claim can be seen in the way that papers and patents that combine diverse ideas tend to rank as high impact. Of course. It can also be found in the structure of the so-called random decision forest. A state-of-the-art machine learning algorithm. Random forests consist of ensembles of decision trees. If classifying pictures, each tree makes a vote. Is that a picture of a fox or a dog? A weighted majority rules. Random forests can serve many ends. They can identify bank fraud and diseases, recommend ceiling fans, and predict online dating behavior. When building a forest, you do not select the best trees, as they tend to make similar classifications. You want diversity. Programmers achieve that diversity by training each tree on different data, a technique known as bagging. They also boost the forest cognitively by training trees on the hardest cases, those that the current forest gets wrong. This ensures even more diversity and accurate forests. All good. If I had read this in a passage, I'll be chomping at the bits and writing off comments. There are lots of arguments made for diversity and richness and variety and not having heavy correlation. All good. But taking each of this as a blow against quality, I'm not on board with it personally. And you do not select the best trees, as they tend to make similar classifications. You do not tend to select the trees with the highest correlation. And so programmers achieve the diversity by training each tree on different data. Brilliant. Of course you have to. They also boost the forest cognitively by training trees on the hardest cases. Why would you want to train on the hardest cases? Because your quality should be better. You want better trees. What do you mean by better? Meritocratic. I don't agree with the premise of the passage that merit is not important. All other factors being important, I'm on board. When the author is taking each of those to drive this illogical argument that merit is useless or merit is misleading or merit is not required. Each of these says other factors are also there, but I don't see how any of these arguments suggest that merit is not necessary. Fine. So, but that again, my personal opinion. I'm going to keep it aside completely. Jump with the author's opinion. Say author Zindabad and answer the questions. Yet the fallacy of meritocracy persists. Corporations, non-profit, governments, universities, and even preschools test, score, and hire the best. This all but guarantees not creating the best team. Ranking people by common criteria produces homogeneity. That's not likely to lead to breakthroughs. Personally, individually, I think this is one of the more absurd conclusions made. One of the madness of some elements of the diversity brigade. They do this. The fallacy of meritocracy. There's no such thing. I would want you to run a company where you recruit on the basis of diversity without caring about merit. Chances are you'll go from a corporation to non-profit very quickly. You can't make money. And try working with diverse, stupid people. I'm using stupid to make a point. Merit can't be sacrificed. Merit is not the defining criteria. Merit is not the only criteria. Having a multiple choice exam and taking that as a proxy for merit of all quality, that is wrong. Having only one criteria to define merit in your way, that is wrong. But true merit can shine through, including all this complexity. Fine. So if you're putting the world's best 11, you will include Virat Kohli and Sachin Tendulkar. You can't say I will go for diversity. Fine. So I completely disagree with the premise that there is a fallacy of meritocracy. You can say merit does not drive everything, diversity matters. That's not what this passage is trying to say. This passage is trying to say that chasing merit is perhaps just wrong. Chasing merit at the cost of diversity, at least there's some argument to be made. Fine. So, but as I said, I'm going to keep aside all my prejudices, my judgments, my view of what this is aside. Now I'm completely on board with the author. Merit is overrated, diversity rules. Let's answer the questions now. Which of the following conditions, if true, would invalidate the passage's main argument? If assessment tests were made more extensive and rigorous, chances are the author would not agree. Anyway, the author is saying merit itself, no matter how you assess it, is not that important. He's not even saying merit is assessed inefficiently. He's saying merit is assessed inefficiently, but even otherwise merit is not so important. If top scorers possess multidisciplinary knowledge that enable them to look at a problem from several perspectives. Oops, I would have written this choice. This is my biggest crib. The guys with the best quality are usually the guys who have the ability to think of diverse opinions. I found quality to be a far better barometer of the depth and value than diversity for the heck of it. And so anything that sacrifices, so I have seen so-called hardcore, bare-knuckled, completely quant-driven engineers be able to isolate a human interaction problem far better than scores of sociology majors. That guy, for all his math upbringing, has picked up that ability to look at different perspectives because of the extent to which he's had to look at different perspectives, even in maths. And so, multidisciplinary knowledge and high IQ, being able to look at it from different views, that's crucial. So I like that choice, but let's see C and D as well. If it were proven that teams characterized by diversity end up being conflicted about problems and take a long time to arrive at a solution, that is true. But our author is not just championing diversity, he's landing blow after blow on meritocracy. So C says diversity could end up causing some trouble. Good. But B says the guy who knows his stuff will think differently. So C is also good, but B probably shades it. If a new machine learning algorithm were developed that proved to be more effective than the random decision for us, even if you know more effective, how more effective? Does it sacrifice diversity and favor merit? That part we need to still do. So I would B and C both fit the bill, but B is better. The author critiques meritocracy for all the following reasons, except that modern problems are multifaceted and require varied skill sets to be solved. True, author says this. You can't have 6 guys of the same type to solve all problems. Diversity and context specificity are important for making major advances in any field. True. Criteria designed to assess merit are insufficient to test expertise in any field of knowledge. True, I won't say any field of knowledge. I don't like that. In complex fields, yes. An ideal team comprises the best individuals from diverse fields of knowledge. This is the answer. Why? Because the word best. Because the author clearly says this one wonderful sentence that thus the team should consist of the best mathematicians, the best oncologists, and the best biostatisticians. That position suffers from a similar flaw. He doesn't think having the best of each is sufficient or is necessary. And so this word makes this the thing that the author is not saying. So that word best. Which of the following conditions would weaken the efficacy of a random decision for us? If a large number of decision trees in the ensemble were trained on data derived from easy cases, this would weaken, definitely, because you want to train them on hard cases. Only then they'll become better. They'll weed out. Some form of natural selection will happen and the better decision trees will emerge from that. So this will definitely weaken. Let's see the others. If a large number of decision trees in the ensemble were trained on data derived from easy and hard ones, that will help. If the types of ensembles of decision trees in the forest were doubled, this will also help. If the types of decision trees in each ensemble of the forest were doubled, types of ensembles were doubled, types of trees in each ensemble were doubled, both will help. I have many teams, that will help. I have many people in each team, that will also help. Easy and hard cases, that will help. Easy cases alone, that won't help. Then they might not have the strength in them to tackle the harder cases. So answer choice A. On the basis of the passage, which of the following teams is likely to be the most effective in solving the problem of rising obesity levels? We need people from several fields, not necessarily the best in each field. Our author likes diversity and has a bone to pick against merit. So you can't just say we want the best in each of these, then author will get all worked up. Right? So you have to say we need many people from many streams, many divisions, but you're not really chasing the best. And a team comprised of nutritionists, psychologists, urban planners, and media personnel who have each scored a distinction in their respective test. All right, but not really all right. The first part is brilliant. It's covering the range. They've scored a distinction. That is, they are the best in their reps. The author doesn't want it. A team comprised of nutritionists, psychologists, urban planners, and media personnel who each performed well in their respective subject tests. And so maybe this will go far because the author is steadfastly against merit. A specialized team of nutritionists from various countries who are also trained in the machine learning algorithm of randomization. That's just an analogy. A specialized team of top nutritionists from various countries who also possess some knowledge of psychology. Not what the author is saying. Author wants different people, a team which brings everything to the table. Fine. So I would have gone for type choice A. Distinction is better than performed well. Why would you leave something on the table? But I think the author is going to go for on the basis of the passage, that will be choice B. Fine. So I keep aside my preferences, and we'll come back to this. Which of the following best describes the purpose of the example of neuroscience? Why was neuroscience mentioned? He said, yeah, there are so many different people. How can you rank them? In modern world, everything is so complex. Let's look at the choices. In the modern age, every field of knowledge is so vast that a meaningful assessment of merit is impossible. I think we found our answer. He's saying justice. He gives so many different strands of discussion on neuroscience and says this is there, that is there, this is there. How can you rank them from 1 to 10? That's what he's trying to drive a parallel. You can't just rank them on any basis. And that is why he uses the example of neuroscience. Unlike other fields of knowledge, neuroscience is an exceptionally complex field. He's not making that point. He's making the exact opposite point. He's taking neuroscience as an example to say how everything is so complex. In narrow fields of knowledge, a meaningful assessment of expertise has always been possible, not the point. It might even be true, but it's not. That is not why neuroscience is mentioned. Neuroscience is an advanced field of science because of its connections with other branches of science like oncology and biostatistics. Nothing. This is talking about neuroscience. We're talking about why is neuroscience an example. He's using neuroscience as an example to say it is these days it is not that easy to just rank people from 1 to 10 in whatever field they are doing, because each field is so complex. And that is choice A. And wonderful passage, interesting passage, a passage where I had to keep aside my own opinions. I almost disagreed with everything that the author said. I agree with, not everything, but the core premise. I agree with that diversity is important. I agree that how they work with each other is important. I agree that you have to keep your context important when you're recruiting. But I simply don't understand how any and all of these mean that merit is not important. I'm building a team. I need a cricket team or a football team. I need a good center forward, a playmaker, 2 strong midfielders, a defensive shield, wonderful defenders, and 2 wing backs and a goalkeeper. I need 11 different players for different roles. So I need diversity. Point taken. I need my team to gel. So I know that I can get 3 great forwards, but if all of them are guys who play in the D, they're going to tread on each other's toes and I'm going to be a mess elsewhere. So not only should my guys be good, they should know their role and be well able to play nice. All that I agree. But just because all these are important doesn't mean I'll get crap players and they can suddenly do a great job. They can't. I still want great players. I have to find a mechanism of assessing and finding that great. Maybe just taking some statistical metric is insufficient. I'll even concede to that. Not everybody can be evaluated based on an entrance exam. Of course not. Who's saying that? Fine, but therefore saying merit itself is a idea to be binned. I'm not a fan of that. And so anyway, luckily I don't know the author. Otherwise I would have been picking an argument with him and beating him up. Not physically, but beating up on his ideas.